Good evening, Minister. We are here, Maru Television, Channel 291 on DSTV. We gathered here because you hosted us for today's I Love Botswana Ensemble, and I believe it falls under your ministry, and you and the Botswana Tourism Authority have done a great job in order to put this together. But in as far as enhancing the color of Botswana tourism, where do you think this is going to?
Thank you. And thank you, first of all, for coming to visit us and seeing the show. You know, one of the things that we've done is we've been doing a lot of ecotourism participation around the world. And I'm pleased to say, as I announced earlier on, we've up to date won, I think it's 19 awards since 2016. But one of the things that we've noticed with tourism is not just about incoming visitors. There's also the ability to export your product. And as Botswana Tourism Organization, when we partnered with ITB, being the first sub-Saharan country to partner with ITB, I mean, that for us was really an honor, privilege, and a first for Africa. As I said, sub-Saharan Africa. This was the ensemble that went. And, you know, it did so well that we felt that we can't just finish with ITB. We need to carry on. And Andrew Collar, the gentleman who puts the choreography together, obviously came back to us and indicated that, you know, what's next. And because of the model of tourism that we've started to adopt, and also our diversification in tourism, and I'm indicating that we're talking about aviation tourism, we're talking about sport tourism, cultural tourism, anything that is fun, we talk about tourism. And in this country, Botswana Tourism Organization have made that decision that we have no borders on traditional style tourism. And this kind of cultural tourism, which depicts our culture, is something worth exporting. You know as well as I do that in the past you had amazing shows like Ipin Tombi and things like that that went, you know, outside, and you know, you are so well known for that. And I believe that taken from that, we can do the same. And also we need to see more of Africa out there. So that has been one of our biggest motivations, is to then do this. We did so well in Germany, and now we want to show it to the rest of the world. And it also advertises that this has been brought by Botswana Tourism Organization and the sponsors. So we have an opportunity to take our tourism to people, so to speak, in the form of song and dance.
Okay, you stole my question for the ITB, but all the same, you have done a lot about getting tourists to the Okavangos and the wild. Urban tourism also taking a center stage. What are we doing as Botswana?
You know, urban tourism, you know, that one of the things that we have control of in our ministry is the wildlife aspect of things. And that is why now you see we're branching out into other things, as I mentioned, like aviation and so on, and sport and parachuting and all this sort of thing. Urban tourism, really, it's one of those things where we're now trying to develop the heritage sites that we've had, so that we can create a story behind that and infuse that into the sort of tourism offering that we have. But you know, it's like everything. When you look at the history of a lot of countries in Africa, this is a young country, and the development is what I'm referring to. But traditionally, we're as old as anybody else. But the kind of tourism that we have in urban tourism is something that has come from the past, and it's something now that we have to develop. And that is what we're having to do, because whatever we do now, in years to come, will be something that was done years ago. So that is something that we're working on now. But obviously, because we are not the main drivers of that, stakeholders regarding how the towns are developed, the cities are developed and things, that's beyond our control. We try and give guidance on what would work. But we're getting there. It's starting to roll for us, which is good. But our focus at the moment is really, as you've seen, cultural, the wildlife, you know, and the various ecosystems that we have in the country.
And lastly, musicals and ensembles like this one are known to last a long lifetime. If you look at Europe, we have got some musicals that run for more than 20 years. Why are you going to take this I Love Botswana ensemble?
Why? Where? Okay. Well, the first stop is the States. Okay, and then we are looking at now the course that we're going to go to. And I think one of the things that we have, and I think that's particularly interesting, is you'll notice that the way Andrew Collar has done the choreography, there's traditional, modern, and a mix. So it is something which is loved by various wide spectrum of people. So that now depicts where we take it to. So typically we'd be looking at the Americas, we'd be looking at Europe, and then going across to the likes of Japan and Malaysia and places like that, Singapore as well, and then Australia as well. And you'll notice that those areas, people can relate to this sort of thing, and that's why it's been infused the way it has, so that it's understood, it's fun, it's exciting, and it's high energy. So that is really the market that would depict where we go. And of course South America, because South America have got so much dance in their own culture, and so this would be a wonderful opportunity to take this kind of African dance to a place that would relate to the same sort of thing. Yeah.
And today HATAP is hosting a conference, and I believe issues, activities like ensembles will always be a topical issue. Where do we hope to alter or change? Because obviously you have created employment with this, and what benefit do you think it's going to take to bring to those that are on the peripheries of the wildlife?
One of the things that we've done in Botswana is we've created the CBNRM, which is a community-based natural resource management model, and we're currently developing on that. Now that model is obviously communities that are in tourism areas derive a livelihood from that. But as you said, there are those that are not in wildlife-rich areas. So the model that we would probably adopt then is look forward to saying, how can we work on something that is suitable and also sustainable in those more marginal areas? But every area has something unique about it. And that is currently what we're working now with government, is to develop those areas which are marginal as far as tourism and wildlife goes, but they have other things that are of interest to them which we can develop, because it's about developing the whole country and not just a portion of it. So it gives us a huge opportunity to become imaginative, think out of the box, get out and do it, and really not just keep relying on the same old. I am not big on the same old. That I think is very staid, is very old-fashioned, but it's a culture that we need to get out of. And really, as a minister, I will say I'm out of that culture, and mine now is to go forward and find all sorts of interesting and exciting opportunities.
Minister, thank you. I like your answers. You were ready with them.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So can I have a picture with you?
Sure you can, and it's free. Oh, at least somebody is holding that the correct height.